Soft piano music plays. A narrator's voice begins calm yet emotional. They say a dog's love never ends, even when their hearts stop beating. Today you'll hear stories that will make you smile, cry, and believe again, in loyalty that outlives time itself. In a quiet village, a stray dog named Buddy waited every evening at the same dusty roadside corner. No one knew why, until an old fruit seller noticed something unusual. Buddy wasn't just a stray. He had once belonged to a young boy named Aram, who used to walk home from school along that very road. They were inseparable, sharing food, laughter, and long walks under the sunset. One day, tragedy struck. A speeding truck hit Aram on his way home. He didn't survive, but Buddy did. From that day onward, Buddy refused to leave the road. Through storms, hunger, and scorching heat, he waited, his eyes scanning every passerby, hoping it was Aram returning. Locals tried to feed him to shelter him, but Buddy always ran back to that same corner. One night during heavy rain, Buddy was found lying on the exact spot where Aram took his last breath, still, quiet, gone. The villagers buried him beside Aram's grave, and on that tombstone they wrote, "A boy and his dog, together again." In a small town near the border lived Captain Rehan, a soldier known for his bravery, and for his dog Shadow, a German shepherd trained for rescue missions. Shadow was more than a service dog. He was family. They ate together, slept together, and even shared the same scars from battle. During one mission, Rehan's team was ambushed. He was gravely injured and pinned under rubble. The enemy was closing in, but Shadow refused to leave. He barked, growled, and shielded his master until backup arrived. When they finally pulled Rehan out, Shadow was barely breathing. Despite his injuries, Shadow wagged his tail one last time as Rehan whispered, "You kept your promise, my boy. You never left me." Years later, when Captain Rehan visited Shadow's resting place, he placed his Medal of Honor on the grave and said, "You were the bravest soldier I ever knew." In a city full of noise lived Layla, an elderly woman who had lost her husband and children years ago. Her only companion was Toby, a senior Labrador with cloudy eyes and a gentle heart. Every morning, Toby fetched her slippers, waited patiently by the window, and followed her wherever she went, even to the small garden they tended together. As time passed, Layla grew weaker. One winter morning, she didn't wake up. Neighbors found Toby lying beside her bed, refusing food, refusing to move. Days turned into weeks, and Toby stayed by her side until his last breath. When both were finally gone, neighbors buried Toby right next to her. And every spring, bright yellow flowers bloomed on their shared grave, as if the garden they loved had followed them into eternity. Each of these loyal souls battled loneliness, loss, and a world that didn't understand their love. Yet they never gave up. They faced hunger, injury, and heartbreak, but their loyalty never faded. Lucy was a gentle golden retriever who lived with Aisha, a young woman studying to become a nurse. They were more than companions. Lucy had been with Aisha since childhood, through every heartbreak and success. But one day, everything changed. Aisha was diagnosed with a rare illness that left her weak and bedridden. The cheerful laughter that once filled their small home was replaced by the quiet hum of hospital machines. Through every moment, Lucy stayed beside her, refusing food, sleeping near the hospital bed, her golden fur slowly losing its shine. On Aisha's last morning, she whispered weakly, "Lucy, I'll meet you at the bridge, okay?" When Aisha passed away, Lucy ran away from home that same evening. For 3 days, no one could find her, until a neighbor saw her lying under the old bridge near their house, silent and still. They buried Lucy beside Aisha, and from that day, people began calling that place the Bridge of Tears. In a small American town, firefighter John Parker had a 9-partner named Max, a black Labrador with unmatched courage. They had rescued countless people together, from burning homes, floods, and accidents. One winter night, a massive fire broke out in an apartment building. Inside, a small child was trapped. John and Max rushed into the smoke. John found the boy, but a collapsing beam separated him from the exit. Max didn't hesitate. He ran into the flames, grabbed the boy's jacket, and pulled him toward the door just as the floor gave way beneath him. The child survived. John survived, but Max didn't make it out. The entire town attended his memorial. The fire department placed a small firefighter's helmet on his grave. The plaque read, "He gave his life to save another, the bravest of them all, Max." In a ruined old house on the edge of the city lived a dog named Rex. He wasn't always alone. He had once belonged to a kind man, Imran, who rescued stray dogs. But Imran died suddenly one winter night, leaving Rex behind. The other dogs were adopted, but Rex refused to leave the old house. Every evening he'd sit by the door, staring at the empty chair where Imran used to feed him. Neighbors often heard faint howls at night, long sorrowful cries echoing through the broken windows. One day, a little girl wandered into the abandoned house after hearing those cries. She found Rex weak and starving. Instead of running, she sat beside him and said softly, "Oh, don't be sad. You can come home with me." From that day, Rex had a new family, and though he still looked at the door sometimes, waiting, he finally slept peacefully again, knowing love had found him twice. At a busy railway station in Lahore, people saw a muddy white dog lying near platform number 3 every morning. He never begged for food, never barked. He just waited. One old porter finally told his story. Months ago, a young man had boarded a train with that very dog. But during the chaos of boarding, the dog jumped off the platform and the train left without him. Since that day, the dog had never moved from that spot. Rain or shine, summer or winter, he lay near the same bench, eyes fixed on the tracks. Every time a train arrived, his ears perked up, tail wagging, as if he believed this time his master would return. After 2 years, the dog grew too old and weak to stand. One morning, he was found still lying there. Eyes closed, a faint smile on his face, as if he finally saw the train he'd been waiting for. The station master placed a small plaque on that bench for the one who never stopped waiting. In a small riverside town, a family owned a Labrador named Bella. When the heavy floods came, chaos filled the streets. Bella's family was trapped inside their home as the water rose higher each minute. They tried to climb onto the roof, but their youngest child, Owen, fell into the rushing water. That day, without a moment's thought, Bella leapt into the flood. Fighting the current, she grabbed Eamon's shirt and pushed him toward a rescue boat. The rescuers pulled the boy to safety, but when they looked back for Bella, she was gone. Days later, when the floodwater lowered, they found her body near a tree, still facing the direction of her home. Eamon now keeps her collar on his study desk. He says, "Every time I'm scared, I remember that my best friend gave her life so I could live mine." In the heart of Karachi, a homeless man named Abdul lived under a bridge with his stray dog, Tiger. They had nothing except each other. Tiger guarded Abdul's few belongings at night, shared scraps during the day, and always stayed close by. One winter night, Abdul fell ill. He was taken to a government hospital, leaving Tiger alone. The staff tried to chase the dog away, but he refused to leave the hospital gate. Day and night, he sat outside, waiting, just like Abdul had always waited for kindness. When Abdul finally passed away, no one came for him. But Tiger somehow sensed it. He lay outside the gate for 2 more days, and then quietly closed his eyes forever. The hospital staff buried him near the garden and placed a small sign. He guarded a man who had nothing and gave him everything.